What is up, everyone? Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the new Love and Marriage Detroit epi. This is episode 8 and it's called Whine Tasting. So we actually pick up at Kristina's event. I remember LaToya was confronting Kristina and she was trying to argue. They were mentioning the husbands and Britney. I think it was very tacky of LaToya to do this at Kristina's event. You know, keep in mind this was her event. Then Kolby goes in the middle of them to calm them down and eventually they separate. This episode is where all of the couples are going for their little trip hosted by Dr. LaToya to the Vinyard. And they are going to see how the wine is made and taste some wine. It's in Traverse City, Michigan. So a lot of people were surprised that there's vineyards in Michigan, but apparently there is. So everybody arrives. They're like in a big RV van type of thing. Of course, there is some tension with some of the couples, but they're planning on just having some fun on this getaway weekend. Somebody else who's joining the three couples is Bravo and his wife named Lakita. They are I guess the friends of the show. On the ride there, they're actually having some fun. They play some games. Then they arrive to the house that they're all staying in. And then a little later that night, they're having some dinner. They're eating a good meal that was cooked by Russell. The man can cook. And everything was okay. But guess who sort of stirs the pot a little bit? Miss I don't like drama, LaToya. She says that there's things that have been happening, whatever. So Brandon takes the opportunity to address Kolby and formally apologize to her for calling her Kolby Cat. It was a great apology. I don't know if it was genuine, but it was great. She says she accepts it, but she is a little bit worried if in the future she does something, will Brandon think that she's copying Kristina? So then Kristina takes the opportunity to bring up the spectacle LaToya did at her event because it has not been sitting well with her. So this Britney thing is brought up again. They have milked this way too much. Kristina says that when she talked to Britney said that Anthony had told her that Kristina and Brandon did not like her, even though Kristina had never mentioned her before. And Britney also said that Anthony told her that Kolby and Russell had a problem with her. Again, this is what Britney said to Kristina, according to her. Anthony's getting activated. Then Bravo steps in and says, this is all a big he said, she said situation. So Anthony says, let's call her right now. Now, in that moment, Kristina did seem a little bit scared by that. So Anthony picks up the phone and calls Britney. She does pick up and he tells her what's going on. So he asks, did I ever say that anyone besides Brandon didn't like you? Did I ever say any other names like Kolby or Russell? And she said, no, you only said Brandon. Also, since Britney is on speakerphone, Brandon then takes the opportunity to tell her that he never said that he didn't like her, that was a lie. So then they hang up the call. So in that moment, Kristina was caught in a lie. She made up that Anthony said that Kristina and Russell had a problem with Britney. She made up that Anthony badmouthed them. I mean, unless Britney lied, but I don't think she did. So then Brandon and Anthony say that they agree to disagree on their problems, and that is it for the night. It is then the next morning. The couples are all waking up, and we see each of them individually talking about what happened last night. No one really knows what to make of what happened and about that Britney call. And Brandon he says to Kristina that he feels like Anthony and LaToya are going out of their way to bother them, making them feel uncomfortable, making them feel like the bad guys. Then the three couples, Brandon, Kristina, Russell, Kolby, Bravo, and his wife are in the van on their way to the Vineyard. LaToya and Anthony had already made it there. But in the van, they are also talking about what happened last night. Obviously, that Brandon and Kristina are still bothered by it. Kristina mentions that LaToya is always picking on her. For example, when Kristina and Kolby fought at the skating rink, LaToya picked on her and not on Kolby. She says that she feels like LaToya never gives her the benefit of the doubt, and it's starting to feel like a problem. So she wants to figure out what's going on. You know what was interesting though? In that moment of hearing Kristina say all those things about LaToya, Kolby didn't defend her so-called friend at all. That's interesting. Okay, so they arrive at the winery. The day is beautiful. I've always thought that vineyards are just beautiful to just look at them. And Anthony and LaToya are so immature. When the couples arrive, Anthony says, "Sit next to me, Russell." And Toya says, "Sit next to me, Kolby." Like, really? That is such middle school behavior. And the funny thing is that even though they are picking so hard at Brandon and Kristina, it does bother them. But little things like this, they're so unbothered. It's funny. But a lady then comes out to serve them the wine. Kristina tells Brandon to slow down, not to drink too much. They all try the different wines. Kolby gives LaToya props for being a woman of color and owning a wine business. And you know what? I give her props as well. That's awesome. It is really amazing that you are doing that, Dr. LaToya. Kolby is always telling LaToya that her business, which is called Ambulance, needs to have some social media activity to grow. I mean, that's common sense. So Kolby and her go to take some pictures and videos, some quote-unquote content for her brand. So it was nice that she's helping her do that. Then a little later, the women and the men separate. The ladies all go on a boat and the guys are playing football. As they're doing that, Anthony brings up Lyriq and that he's going to have him in the showcase. Now remember, Lyriq is the other music producer that we saw last week. And by now, Brandon has had enough because Anthony has done the most by bringing the DJ first of all, then cutting his slots in the showcase, and now bringing Lyriq. Brandon says, "No, man, he's been taking clients from Star Factory like he is a dirty man. I don't get along with him." And Anthony says, "I can have anyone I want to in my event. I don't have to ask you." And Brendan says, "Okay, I don't know like what you got against me, but like what's your issue?" They're going at it. Anthony says there's no issues, and then he gets up a little bit too close to Brandon, and Brandon says, "Okay, now back up." And that's where the episode ended. So this episode was a little bit of a snooze fest. You would think that having all of the couples in, all in one group would cause some more drama. But it looks like Kolby and Kristina have sort of buried their hatchet. So it now looks like Kristina is really going up against LaToya. And likewise with Brandon and Anthony. But you guys, let me know, what did you think about this episode? What did you make about the Britney call? And what do you make about Anthony and Brandon fighting? Whose side are you on? Let me know. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll catch y'all next time. Y'all have a great one. Bye.